interviews about innovation, internet, technology, the lot. We speak to a lot of people, and one of them is sitting here. Who are you, and what are you doing?
I'm John Lunn, so I'm the Global Director of the PayPal Developer Network.
The PayPal Developer Network, so you make it possible that we pay each other money on the internet?
I make it possible that developers can help you pay money on the internet,
yeah. As a speaker, you've just spoken on stage. If there was one point you wanted to make during your session, what was it?
So the main point is the change in the world of how we buy stuff, full stop. So it's the line between what's online and what's offline is going away, has gone away actually, and the whole experience is now merging into one. So you walk into a store with a mobile phone, and that phone is part of your shopping experience already, and the retailers that aren't doing that are going to get left behind. And in the future, this whole thing is one ecosystem where you decide what you're going to buy separately, and you have a good experience on store using the same data and technology that you have online today.
Yeah. And you say you help developers, because what PayPal has is an API, I assume. So
we have many APIs, yeah. So my team, everyone in my team is a developer, and our role is to make sure that what PayPal is giving to the developer community is up to date, relevant, and modern. In the same way as to take back what the developers want back to PayPal and say, okay, we need to build this or we need to build that.
Yeah. So you watch what people do, well, online and offline, like you say, and you see trends, etc. Yep. What for trends have you seen during the last couple of years? Because how have people changed paying-wise online?
Well, online, people are looking for simplicity, so people really don't want complicated checkouts. That's the first thing. Also, people don't have time to search for stuff anymore. I mean, people now want to be fed what they want rather than spend hours searching for what they want, and that's really changing. This year you're starting to see companies like Fab, etc., who feed you a small amount of desirable items rather than a huge catalogue of lots of stuff. So that's the main way the web shopping is changing today. Offline, it's changing because you walk in with a mobile phone that's a computer. Like 50% of people now think they know more about the items in the store than the people selling them in the store. So that's completely changed.
Yeah. So what you want to do is, one of the things is take friction away, because people don't want to take time. There's one startup I saw, I think it's called Chirpify or something. You only have to say buy on Twitter something, and based on your API actually, I assume, because then it goes to PayPal and says you just bought this and that thing. So is that an important thing? Make paying part of the conversation?
Yeah, so paying is the ideal payment is the payment you don't notice, or the payment that's invisible. No one likes paying for stuff. It's the worst bit of any transaction. So if you can make that as seamless, as simple, and as invisible as possible, then do it. So and I see us in a number of years, like just saying, I mean, already we're doing this. Now with PayPal Check-in, you pay with your face. So your face is on the till or the point of sale of the retailer. They can see you. You say hi, and they say, well, how would you like to pay? PayPal? Thanks, done. No wallet, no handing over, no PIN numbers, none of that stuff. My face is very recognizable, mine particularly, but the retailer can see you. Why do you need to do all this complicated stuff? Just deal with it, get it out of the way.
Yeah. Over here, during the last couple of weeks, we have had a lot of stuff with the banks, and at a certain day, everyone at ING and in the Netherlands seemed to have lost 2,400 euros in a second or something. So it was, right. And those moments, you see how fragile, say, your or our world or our industry is as well. So that must be, you must have a big department in. Yeah, the safety department, so to say.
Yeah, so I mean, risk is a major part of this. I mean, the other side of frictionless or simple is risk, right? If you make it really, really simple, it becomes very, very risky. And what PayPal does really well is balance the two. So our belief is the risk, and dealing with that risk should not be the consumer's only the consumer's responsibility, which is the difference between us and the banks. The banks themselves will say, okay, we're going to put in a complicated system for you to authenticate. We say we need to put in better systems so you don't have to authenticate. So it's a different way of looking at the world. And our view of the world is we want to make it simple for the consumer. And by doing that, we need to make sure we have good risk departments and teams that are managing the risk.
Yeah. You've many APIs, you say. So what sort of a variety of what sort of things have you seen that surprised you in the usage of your technique?
So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. We've just gone live on LG televisions, so paying with your remote control. We've seen people, as you said, things like Chirpify. There's an app that's gone live called Sherpa. That's a bit like Siri, Android, and they've integrated PayPal, and I can sit in a bar and say, "Pay Bob," and the money's moved. So you know, it's simple APIs that integrate to modern technology, and that's all getting much more level. You can integrate payments into almost anything, to be honest. And I've seen washing machines. I saw a washing machine last week that has PayPal. You can pay for your washing with PayPal.
The opportunities, there are a lot of them, but what is the biggest problem you still have to tackle in your industry?
In payments themselves, it's still simplification. It's how you take a lot of the complex rules that have been set up for good reason and how you simplify that to make the movement of money easier. So there's still lots of legislation, rules and old-fashioned technologies in place that perhaps make the movement of money stupidly slow. I mean, money should move instantly. It shouldn't take 3 days, shouldn't take 5 days. I think when we get to a stage where money moves instantly everywhere, then the whole thing becomes a lot better.
You are now in the Netherlands, and you are one of the sponsors of the Next Web.
Yep.
That is good, because it's a frustration over here, because whatever I do, I still have to include Ideal, because the Dutch people pay with Ideal.
Sure.
So for me, a PayPal alone is not enough. So
sure.
When are you going to be the main the main one over here as well?
So we're growing, and we're growing all the time in Holland. We have an office in Amsterdam. We have a big team here, and we have Mark Platz over here as part of the eBay family. And we see every year us growing. And the truth is, Dutch people don't only buy for Dutch people. Dutch people are going to work in the modern economy. They're going to want to buy from everywhere, global. And therefore, you can't use Ideal everywhere in the world. You need something that works everywhere, and PayPal works everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, and the good thing is that getting the friction away as well, is that you can just email to someone and say there's money waiting for you. In your field, or what people do with your API, what is a startup we should look out for?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many startups. I think there's some really exciting stuff coming with dual screens. So you see a lot of people working with the idea of having one screen talking to another screen, and you're seeing some interesting startups coming there. Many of them. Lots of people are playing around with the idea of payments and making payments more simple. There's lots of startups actually reinventing the point of sale. Companies like AirPOS, Vend, Shopkeep, all these guys who are basically taking away the old-fashioned till that you have in a store, replacing it with an iPad or a tablet, and actually building a better consumer experience. So there's so many areas. I mean, retail, or the revolution in retail, or revolution in commerce as we call it, is going the fastest it's ever been. It's moving so quickly now. If you think if you think how you use a taxi today, it's completely different from how you used it a year ago. Yeah. You're thinking how you're booking things, completely different from 5 years ago. And it's changing so well. Almost everything in your life that's admin heavy and tedious is being replaced by quick and simple technology.
And we haven't seen the end of that yet.
Oh no, absolutely no way.
Yeah. There's one thing I ask everyone. It's not a specific question, but it's a general question. So we want one lesson from all of our guests. If there's one lesson you would give a next generation of entrepreneurs, like they're walking around in places like this, what would the one thing be?
Be brave. Yeah, be brave. When you're young, and when you don't have things like families, mortgages, and old people to look after, then you can take lots of risks. So be brave. Take the risks.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dank jullie wel. We doen zoals gezegd, or I'll keep it in English for a little bit more. We do interviews, 2 days of interviews. You can watch live. You can look them up at our YouTube channel or at the site. Fast Moving Targets. That is, we thank keepgo.nl or keepgo.com. That's a company that helps you when you go abroad and you want to be able to pay for your mobile internet traffic. Thanks a lot for that. And Streamzilla is our streaming party. We go on here a little bit later if you watch live, and if you watch on demand, watch the rest. Thank you.